I gave away my newborn son, left my baby at a stranger's door, and ran into the dark crying. This is a heartbreaking story about motherhood, love, abandonment, poverty, betrayal, and an impossible choice that changes a life forever. I walked out of the maternity hospital with my baby in my arms. No home, no money, no support. My parents told me I ruined my life, that I shouldn't have given birth. The father of my child simply disappeared. I sat on a cold bench holding my tiny boy and realized I had no future to give him. And then I heard a conversation about a woman who had everything except a child. That night, I stood in front of their house with the red roof, my tears falling onto the blue blanket wrapped around my son. I wrote just one line: "Please make him happy." I rang the doorbell and ran. I hid in the darkness and watched another woman take my son in her arms. She became his mother, and I was left without a heart.
Love Stories Max. Welcome to my channel. Enjoy watching, friends.
My heart stayed at that door. I walked out of the maternity hospital just as the sky was starting to darken. In my arms, a tiny bundle. My son, my everything, and my greatest weakness. The wind was cold, but I didn't even feel it. I just stood near the entrance, unable to take a step, because ahead of me, there was nothing. No home, no money, no one waiting for me. My parents had told me months ago, "You ruined your life. You should have had an abortion." Those words were still cutting me from the inside. The father of my child just disappeared. No explanations. No "I'm sorry." No "I'll come back." Just erased himself from my life. And I was left behind, with a newborn son and emptiness. I sat down on a bench near the hospital, held him closer. He was softly breathing, wrapped in a blue blanket. So tiny, so helpless. "I'm sorry," I whispered, and tears started falling onto his little cheek. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. I didn't even know how to keep living. And that's when I heard voices. 2 nurses were standing nearby, talking to each other. Poor Amanda. So many years of trying, and another failed pregnancy. She's already 40, and still no children. And they have such a beautiful home. Brand new with a red roof, right next to a school. And her husband is wonderful. I froze. The words started forming into something terrifying, something impossible. I lowered my eyes to my son. He moved slightly as if searching for warmth. And something inside me broke, 'cause I realized I wouldn't be able to give him anything. No roof over his head, no decent life, no future. And there was everything, except him. I closed my eyes. No, I can't, he's my son. But the thought had already taken root, and every minute with him made it hurt even more. I cried like I was being torn apart, because that's exactly what was happening. I was splitting myself in two. That evening, I stood in front of that house, with the red roof. It looked warm, alive, like there was real life inside. I held my son tightly against my chest. "I love you, more than anything in this world," I whispered. My hands were shaking. I took out a small piece of paper. It was hard to write, my tears blurred everything. "Please make him happy." That was all. I couldn't write anything more. I kissed his forehead, for a long time, with despair, with a love that was tearing me apart. I laid him gently by the door, wrapped the blanket tighter, as if that could somehow replace me. I rang the doorbell, and I ran, crossed the street, hid behind a car. My heart was pounding like it was about to break out of my chest. The door opened. A man stepped out. He froze. "Amanda, come here quickly," he shouted. She ran out. I only saw her from the corner of my eye. She picked up my son, so carefully, the way I was supposed to hold him, and they went inside. The door closed, and that was it. Silence, as if I no longer existed. I sat there in the darkness, crying quietly, without a sound, because my voice was gone. Stayed there with him. My heart stayed there too. I woke up in the middle of the night. I don't remember falling asleep. I stood up and started walking, just forward. Empty streets, cold asphalt. Me, empty. Without him, without myself, every step hurt, every breath cut deep. I wrapped my arms around myself, as if I could bring back the warmth I had lost. You will be happy, I whispered into the darkness. You will have a better life than I could ever give you. And that was the only thing keeping me on my feet. The only thing. Because otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to keep going. That night I lost everything, but I gave away the most precious thing I had. Out of love. A love that turned out to be stronger than me. 25 years passed. I never returned to that house, but in my thoughts every single day, I imagined his life. If he laughed, if someone held him, if he was happy. And one day, I finally came back. I stood far away, just like before. On the other side of the street, the house hadn't really changed. The same red roof, the same terrace, and there she was, Amanda. Her hair now gray, wrinkles on her face, but the same kindness still lived in her eyes, the one I saw that night. And then, a beautiful car pulled up. The door opened, and a little boy about 4 years old ran out. "Grandma Amanda!" he shouted, running straight into her arms. She stood up, smiled, and opened her arms, and held him so gently, so truly. My heart stopped. Then a man stepped out of the car. Tall, calm. There was warmth in the way he moved. And behind him, a young woman. Beautiful, soft, holding a baby wrapped in a blanket. I couldn't breathe, because I knew it was him. My son. The same little boy I left at that door. Now he was a man, a father, and he was happy. They walked onto the terrace, sat together. I watched them laugh. The little boy running around, the woman holding the baby close. I was watching life, real life, the kind I could never give him. I stepped a little closer, still hidden, and I heard Amanda say, "Peter, I miss your father so much." Peter. They named him Peter. "Mom, he would be happy to see all of us together," he replied softly. "Mom." He called her Mom, and I smiled through tears. They drank tea, talked for a long time. I heard him speak about his daughter, little Anna, about his son Nicholas, how he worried if he would be a good father. And Amanda softly laughed and said, "You already became one the moment you first held them." And in that moment, I understood. I didn't lose him. I saved him. I gave him a chance at this life, this laughter, at this family, at these embraces. I stood there in the shadows quietly crying, but these were different tears, not from despair, but from the truth that love can truly save, even if it breaks you. A few weeks passed after the day I saw him again. I started coming there almost every day. I didn't get too close, just walked by, as if it was accidental, as if my life wasn't behind that fence. And one day he was standing outside the house, unloading tools from his car. I heard Amanda say somewhere in the yard, "Peter decided to do the renovation himself. He's a builder after all." I froze. Peter. I stood there for a few seconds, unable to move. And then, I took a step. Another one. I didn't plan it. I wasn't ready. But my heart had already decided. I walked closer. "Hello," I said quietly. He looked up. Our eyes met, and something inside me turned upside down. "Hello," he replied. "Did you need something?" His voice was calm, kind. I tried to say something, but the words got tangled. I was just passing by, thought I'd say hi. He smiled slightly. "Oh, I see. You must be from around here? You could say that," I whispered. We talked for a few minutes. About the weather, about the renovation, about everything and nothing. Then he said, "Sorry, I need to finish this." "Yes, of course," I answered. And he went inside. And I stayed outside. Again. Who was that? I heard Amanda's voice from the terrace. "I don't know," he said. "Maybe a neighbor." I closed my eyes. But then I heard her voice again. Quieter. Wiser. "I know who that is." I didn't hear the rest. But my heart understood. She knew. And she didn't judge me. Because we both loved him. Differently. But equally deeply. Couldn't go on like this forever. And one evening, she told him everything. The truth. About that night. About the note. About me. I was walking down the same street, like always. My heart was beating slowly, heavily, and suddenly, wait, I turned around. He was running toward me. "Peter, it's you, isn't it?" he said out of breath. I couldn't answer. I just looked at him. "You're my mom?" Tears started falling on their own. My voice broke. "I don't have the right to call myself that." He stepped closer, very close. "You do," he said softly, and he hugged me, for the first time, after 25 years. And in that moment, I stopped being empty. He invited me inside. We sat at the table, drinking tea. I was afraid to even look at him, but he looked at me without anger, without blame. "Tell me," he said. And I did. About everything. The cold, the fear. That night when I left my heart at the door, and then he told me his life, how he was loved, how he was protected, how he was happy, and I listened, and thank God for that. Amanda, she didn't just accept me, she gave me life. She helped me buy a small house at the end of the street, and for the first time in many years, I felt like I had a place in this world. We started seeing each other often. On long evenings, we would sit together. Amanda told stories about Peter as a child, his first steps, his tears, his laughter, and I told about my emptiness, about the years that had nothing in them, except thoughts of him. Sometimes we laughed, sometimes we cried, and sometimes we just sat in silence. But it was real life. Only one thing remained difficult. One day, Peter laughed and said, "Mom, it's hard to explain to the kids why they now have 3 grandmothers." We all laughed. And little Anna said seriously, "That's good. It means we have more love." And in that moment, I understood everything. Love doesn't always look right. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it breaks you. Sometimes it forces you to let go of what you love the most. But if it's real, it always finds its way back. Through years, through pain, and sometimes, it comes back to you as 3 grandmothers and one happy laugh.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss new stories. And also write in the comments how you liked this story on a scale of 1 to 5. Watch the following video and enjoy watching.